I've always been curious, how large SUVs, especially the kind of GLS is, how would it be for the chauffeurs to get out of tight spots, because the owners obviously aren't part of that process. And it's not bad. The turning radius of the car is quite impressive, and as you must have seen how tight our parking spot is, the GLS has done it quite commendably. It's quite impressive, honestly. I was worried about this part, but I'm very much impressed. Unnerving, right? It was for me as well, especially when I was navigating out of our office parking space. And while I was doing all of that, it made me wonder, why would anyone want to buy such a large SUV? But on second thoughts, why wouldn't you want to buy such a large SUV? Because at the end of the day, the owner is looking for luxury, and nothing screams more luxurious than the Mercedes-Benz GLS.
The GLS has a reassuringly old-school Mercedes vibe. It's not trying too hard to be in your face. A new grille up front flaunts the big three-pointed star. Could have been sleeker though. The headlights are nicely set up, look elegant. Same goes for the rear. The 21-inch alloy wheels pull it off well enough, but 22 or 23 inches would have been the real flex. Then again, a bit more muscle, some character would have done wonders. Since both its rivals, the BMW X7 and the Audi Q7, look damn aggressive. The cabin isn't just eye candy. There's a lot going on.
Now the entire focus of the GLS is about luxury, and as you can see, the interior is fully equipped to give you that very sophisticated touch. Let's start with the kind of materials that Mercedes has used. You get this really nice texture on the upholstery, even on the seats you get this really nice stitching, and on the dashboard as well you get a really nice contrast with this black piano finish to that brown leather texture that you get. Now, here's what you get for the driver. A new steering wheel with a very nice intuitive touch for the keypads. It has a lot of functions on it. You also get to turn on and off your speed limiter, your cruise control, as well as the forward collision warning, the kind of distance you would want to maintain. I will obviously talk about that ADAS features that the car gets later on in the video. But right now, talking about that steering wheel, it has a very nice and firm grip. The leather is extremely good quality work, so that is really commendable. What I would really want to put some emphasis on is this new MBUX system. So both the screens are 12.3 inch and are quite clear. They are crisp. The information that you get is very vivid, and I really like how intuitive it is. It is like very typical of Mercedes, so there's no doubts about that. Talking about the features front, you get a lot of space. There's one over here. You also get a charging port inside this. You also get two charging ports over here and a wireless charger as well.
So, is the GLS the MVP of passenger comfort? Or is it just another SUV with grand promises? There's enough headroom and legroom to make a giraffe jealous, but the transmission tunnel hinders space for the middle seat passenger. Acoustic comfort package to cut down outside noise, and the rear seat comfort package with twin screens at the back enhance the overall experience. Now, usually, this is where we'd crack a joke about the third row being a punishment for anyone taller than a garden gnome. But
Now, accessing the third row is very convenient. Mercedes has thought it through, but they have also kind of not thought it through. So for accessing, you just have to press this button that you get on the seat, and it automatically folds up. Obviously, it's going to take its own sweet time, and I just hope that it doesn't bump on that. Okay, that bumps on that screen. But that cushion is obviously going to help it. Now, before I get into it, I'm just quickly want to tell you that putting it back in place is going to be a tad bit difficult because it is not one touch. You will have to keep on holding that switch, so it takes its own sweet time, honestly, to get back into position. And then you obviously have to again adjust it from here. So you've got this nice little step over here, and that's very practical, honestly, when you want to get into that third row. But once you get inside the third row, it is quite surprisingly spacious, and not unlike other three row that claim to be three row and give you a 7-seater version layout. But this one really does, because you get a decent amount of knee room. You also get a decent amount of headroom. You also have this glass, so you don't feel claustrophobic. Obviously, that sunroof isn't going to be of much help, but there is a good amount of space to be here, even for adults.
Drop down the rows and you've got a very usable cargo haven. Speaking of haven, the GLS gets the usual parking aids, front and rear sensors, plus the full 360-degree camera magic. Joining the previous diesel-only GLS is a new petrol, the 450 trim. I've driven large cars before, but the GLS is on another league altogether. Be it inside city limits or out on the highway, the feeling is surreal.
Given the large proportion, the large footprint of the car, you already get that dominant road presence. So cars anyway, smaller cars especially, will give you way. So that is a bit of confidence inspiring.
Moving away from the city gave a better perspective of the SUV.
Now, despite this being a really large and very heavy SUV, that 3-liter 6-cylinder engine and the 9-speed gearbox really does the trick.
Steering, on the other hand, is feather light and not much feedback, but at least it's direct. The brake pedal, though, is uncommunicative, soft, with a long travel distance. So, does size matter in crowded city streets? Well, the GLS thinks so, proudly dubbing itself the S-Class of SUVs. We don't know yet how expensive it will be, but it will surely be more than what its chief rival, the X7, cost. Even the Volvo XC90 could be an ideal choice. Q7 is outdated now, so best wait for a facelift. But for those with discerning taste, it's not about the money. It's all about bathing in the glory of opulence.